if you listen to a lot of other radio, they'll hide their mistakes. Where the Breakfast Club, if like one of us fucks up, they're gonna call it out on the air. You know.
Right. Today, we talk about, well, I want to know, like, what are your top 3 favorite guests that have been on Breakfast Club?
Man, okay. Off the get, I have to say J-Lo, just because she is a gorgeous human being. Yeah. Bro, but like, I was
still somehow. You know?
Yeah, dude. I she's an anomaly of like, I don't know, science, but
right.
I was never a big like J-Lo fan as far as like, you know, my top 5 women or whatever, but when I saw her in person, like that was one of the first like few times I've gotten like starstruck where I know what the hell to do. Yeah, even now talking about it, like thinking about it, I kind of trip it up a little bit. Yeah, J-Lo is amazing in person.
Yeah, she seems like a nice person.
Yeah, she was cool. She was chill. I mean, she was doing this forever, so she's super like pro, very media.
Yeah, you don't get this far in the game without knowing what the fuck you're doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. So she knows what the hell she's doing. I would say outside of that, Tekashi 6ix9ine. Yeah, I mean, dude, he aside from being a character, he was just like a genuinely nice guy when he was up there.
I had that impression of him. I'm like, this is so clearly a professional troll.
Right.
That like, similar to J-Lo, you have to like kind of have a cog there to know like, okay, I know when to turn it on for this, how to do this, but also behind all this, I'm just like an okay person.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the guy.
I mean, obviously he's gotten into some extracurricular activities outside of music, but I mean, in like...
Yeah, regardless of his rap sheet.
Right, regardless of like the murders that he's allegedly connected to, but, you know, like when he was just out, like chilling in like our lobby area, he was just like a regular dude, like really nice, take pictures of everybody, you know, that kind of thing. So he was cool, man. He was surprised. I think it's because I was surprised at how normal he was and like how much of just like a good dude he was. That's why it was a good interview.
Interesting.
You know, and I would have to say the other one that just comes to mind is Soulja Boy. You know, because that was just, that was like the start to our new year, like 2019. Everybody just got back from vacation, and it was just like such a gigantic moment that like everybody from SNL was quoting it. You know what I mean? So and it being in that room, it was just hilarious. Like he had us all just dying in there. So it was like it was one of those moments. You're not gonna forget. It was hilarious.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of interesting because obviously you get a lot of big names. Clearly, you guys are one of, if not the biggest syndicated radio show currently, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like 100 markets around the country, all on like all the Navy ships as well, and even on YouTube alone, our numbers are crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And from what I understand, you operate the entire soundboard for every episode, right?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, since we're nationally syndicated, we have the local New York board, which is in the other room, and the studio I'm in with everybody is our national side. So I'm basically controlling like all 100 stations at the same time, essentially. So if I fuck up there, it fucks everything up around the country.
Right. No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure at all. So yeah, I'm controlling all that. All the sound bites, the board, their mics, everything like that, editing, interviews and, when callers come in and stuff like that on the fly as well. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because, I mean, to the naked eye, you just look like you're just sitting there.
Yeah, everybody's like, what is it? I want this guy's job. He just does nothing and sits there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's, what's your level of, like, when fans of the Breakfast Club, like, do they recognize you? Do they constantly approach you, nag you about certain things? Like, what's the pros and the cons of like?
I mean, I get a lot more mixtapes sent to me than I would like probably, but I mean, it's interesting to me because I think anybody that takes the time to recognize me, you have to be a real fan of the show. You know what I mean? So like anybody that is, knows who the hell I am, that's exciting to me because that means you really appreciate what we're doing. So it's cool, man. Everybody's usually pretty cool. Like I haven't gotten like any threats or anything like that. I haven't had the Charlamagne treatment yet. So I mean, it's been good, and people are more just like excited and curious about the show, and I can relate to that because I was a fan of it prior to ever even getting into radio. So I can relate to anybody just like wanting to know about it because it is amazing.
Okay, and it's. Because a platform that big, I figure like it's got to get to your head to some level too. Like, oh man, I should be able to DJ anywhere, like whatever.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm still the guy just singing the back, but I'm cognizant of that. I think at the end of the day, I'm more just grateful because it's been such a long road to even get to this point. It's like even like in general having a full-time job in radio and like having health benefits and things like that, like is hard to get to. But to have it on, my favorite show that I had no plan, like no idea that I would ever even get in the room with them, is just incredible. So it's like hard to kind of get cocky with that, And also when you're next to Envy and Charlamagne and Yee, these are people that are wildly successful and like you see their work ethic and you have so much more room to grow. And also they're really good at humbling you as well, So there is that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, because Charlamagne's a fucking character. Dude,
yeah, absolutely.
And I got to be honest with you, I don't watch Breakfast Club as much as I used to. I used to watch it all the time.
Yeah.
So now I'll catch like things that catch my interest as far as like thumbnails and whatnot. But I'm more leaning, especially with how Charlemagne goes, is towards Brilliant Idiots and like that whole podcast realm. I feel like he's a lot more raw in those conversations than maybe you're allowed to be at the Breakfast Club.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, man, like, because, you know, this is a podcast.
Yep.
But, you know, you're on syndicated radio, but also do podcasts.
Right.
So, like, what's been your impression of, like, how that transition's happening or where you see a role for each or, you know, pros and cons of each? Like,
I mean, I think definitely podcasts are the present and future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not to say that radio would necessarily go away, but I think you'll start seeing, you know, we're syndicated in 100 cities. So that means there's 100 cities where they don't have a local morning show. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we're their morning show. And I think you'll start seeing that the bigger figures will kind of start having control over the market and, you know, and it'll be less and less kind of local people as well. But I mean, I think podcasts, I think there's just sort of there's two worlds that exist. I mean, both can coexist. You know, you have kind of just casual radio listener, you know, who just drives to work in the morning, and for them, they just kind of want the current events.
Yeah, and that's what it was for me back when I was driving. I was like, yo, let me get the Breakfast Club on, and this is my morning commute. You know?
Yeah, and you know, and it's a little bit edgier than other radio, so it's fun to listen to, you know. And then for, you know, those of us who want to kind of deep dive into things and really just kind of like have no boundaries, the podcast kind of fulfills that as well. Yeah. I think the beauty of the podcast is you can do it literally anywhere. I mean, you know, we're doing it right here, you know, in your living room kitchen. You know what I mean? So I think that's the beauty of it, and that's sort of like you know, why they can both kind of coexist. You know, now if you're asking me where do I personally see myself, I think for what I want to do, I would say podcast would probably be more in line with that, just because it kind of have the freedom to whenever, you know, and to say whatever the hell I want to say, you know.
Right. Yeah. Do you feel restricted or do you feel like the guys and girls at the Breakfast Club feel restricted? Do you get that sense, or do you think it doesn't really matter to them? Like, I
don't think that they're necessarily restricted. Obviously, they can't say everything that they would say on a podcast, but they still find creative ways to say it without saying it. You know, I think to me that's also part of the comedy and like the entertainment of it. It's like they're gonna find a way to like make a sex joke without getting in trouble. You know, and they're gonna push that line. Right. You know,
especially Charla.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes he curses with like dump it. You know what I mean? It's like dude, he's doing this for so long, you know, not to curse.
Right.
But I mean, that's like the fun of it, you know. And I think that they are really good at, you know, even knowing that, you know, there are, you know, boundaries to play in, but still not letting it, you know, affect their personality and their rawness. I think if you listen to a lot of other radio, they'll hide their mistakes. Where the Breakfast Club, if like one of us fucks up, they're gonna call it out on the air, you know. Right. So like that still is able to showcase their personality, and that's like something that's very raw still in itself. That's like something that they teach you not to do in radio, basically, you know. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you got to break the rules to like stand out, right?
Yeah,
that's probably why you guys are so successful, you know.
Right, exactly. I mean, even if you kind of think about Howard Stern, in my opinion, was better when it was on regular radio because it was like it was tongue in cheek, like you didn't know was he gonna get in trouble, was he not, you know. And then when he had the free for all, I think it lost a lot of steam, you know. And this isn't like a shot at Howard Stern, but
nah, we coming for you, Howard.
Yeah, shots fired, bro.
Damn it, I wish I had my bullets.
Good shot. But I mean, you know, I think there is like there is a comedy to kind of like pushing the envelope a little bit.
For sure. And I was gonna ask actually, what's some things about the Breakfast Club that you wish more people understood, or you feel like is the most misunderstood about Breakfast Club, like behind the scenes things that people wouldn't really appreciate unless they were like there every day, day in, day out, behind the scenes.
I mean, I think, you know, there are some of the most hardworking people that I've ever met. You know, I think you don't see that like Envy will DJ a club on a Monday night and come straight to the radio station, sleep in the back room for an hour, and then sit down and do a 4-hour radio show. Right. And we're talking about somebody who's a millionaire doing that.
Right.
You know what I mean? This isn't like some kid on his grind. You know, this isn't me.
He's got a family. He's got a bunch of kids.
Yeah, like, 5 kids. You know, that kind of thing. I think. You know, and so seeing how hard workers they are and how intelligent they are, and I think, you know, they're so self-aware of like what they're doing. You know what I mean? Right. It's incredible to watch people just operating at such a high level. And I think at the end of the day, I think, you know, what might not come across, a lot of people are like, oh, Charlemagne an asshole, is he in person, that kind of thing. He's a genuinely good dude, you know. Yeah. And I think a lot of times he gets himself in trouble or like pushes the edge because his sense of humor is he likes to make you uncomfortable,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's his sense of humor. To me. Like it's not like a personal attack.
Right.
It's just funny to him. You know
Right,
what I mean? So like, and it's off mic, on mic. He's the same person. That's what he does. You know.
Oh, man.
So I think that people must do that.
Yeah. Do you spend much time with those guys outside of? Because I know like DJ Envy is like you know, not only an inspiration for you, but like a mentor
Right.
with a lot of different things. But even with the others, do you find yourself spending a lot of time with them? Not so much. Like, nah. As soon as I'm done here, I got to run to do my DJing, my podcasting, my book writing, my family stuff, like whatever, you know.
It's tough, man. I think I definitely would like to be able to spend more time, but you know, I have so much going on.
And I'm sure you have enough going on too.
Yeah, I mean, I have a million things going on. You know, I mean, you know, it's definitely like a goal of mine, I would say, to just be able to like, you know, go out to more of events that they're doing and things like that, and just spend a little more time outside of the building. But I just have so much shit. Like honestly, you know, we'll get done with our interviews in the morning, and then I go run and like record my podcast, or I have to go do this or do whatever it is, you know. So it is tough. So I don't get to spend that much time, but like we'll hang out and kind of bullshit after the show sometimes, and you know. But yeah, it's definitely something that's on my like goal to like. I just have to be more present, I guess, in it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's easy to kind of get caught up in everything you're doing, and then you kind of like are missing little moments. You know what I mean? Like you're missing like the blessing that you get to be around these people, and I think it's anytime I can take extra time to soak up more game from them, I should take advantage of that. You know?
Yeah. And then along the same lines, how, you know, because you're spending time with them obviously during the show.
Yep.
How are these guests, you know, that we briefly mentioned some of your favorites, but like how are these people getting booked? Is it just like, oh, Charlemagne really is intrigued by this guy, he wants him on, or DJ Envy has a friend who's putting out an album soon, let's get him on here? Like how what's the booking process like?
It's a combination of all those things. It's also people pitching. So we have Eddie F.
I'm sure agents reach out to you.
Yeah,
and stuff,
exactly. So Eddie F. is the executive producer. So he'll get pitched certain people, and then he'll kind of come in the room and be like, hey, guys, any interest in this person? This is what they have going on, blah, blah. And then, yeah, you know, Envy, Charlemagne, they're all like they're always on the cusp of like, you know, oh, I think this guy's really cool. I want to have him on the show. So it's all a combination of a lot of different things like that. Like they're all bringing people to the table constantly as well. It's not just them sitting back and waiting.
Yeah.